Welcome, everyone. I am Dr. Dream, and you found yourself at the It's All Good Show. Today is a sub podcast of the It's All Good Show, and it's strictly focused on EESystem center owners. And this is real special for me because of my own experience, miraculous healing that the EESystem assisted me in creating for myself. And all the centers, I've been to 38 centers now all over the country. And now that we've got a little time off from our tour, I said, I want to feature EESystem owners because they've all got amazing stories and so much to share. And that's a great introduction today. I've got Linda Pitsoulis from Atlanta. She has the EESystem Atlanta. It's a 24-unit EESystem center right there in Atlanta. And Linda, it's a treat to have you on the It's All Good show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for hosting these. We really appreciate it.
I have to say, we've never met in person, but we've met online, so to speak, which is kind of a common thing these days. And then you and I have had one or two phone calls, and I found you to be just a very pleasant person. I love my conversation with you and the things that you had to say. And I realized that you're also a bit of a connector in the community. And when I say that, I mean in the EESystem community. But before we get into anything, how did you find out about EESystem?
A friend of mine told me about a video and she sent it to me, and it was the very first Revolution for Healing video. And as I was watching it, my soul was jumping up and down in there and saying, you got to bring this to Atlanta. And I just was seeing pieces of a puzzle that had formulated over the last 12, 13 years while I was on my own healing journey. And I was learning so many things. And it was literally, I saw it as puzzle pieces connecting. And it was EESystem, the scalar, was the glue that holds it together. I mean, Dr. Sanja talks about it, that it's God's love, and I call it agape. I'm Greek, so the word agape just means a heck of a lot more. It's infinite, indefinite, you know. So as soon as I got off the phone, or I finished watching the video, I texted the link to my chiropractor. He has a beautiful space, only uses it 2 days a week. And I was like, watch this video. I want to bring it to Atlanta. I want to put it in your office. And that's what I did.
Fabulous. And I've looked at pictures online of the office and how it's set up. I think I saw a picture from an event you did with a Joe Dispenza meditation, and everyone looked so good. And the towers, I think in the photo, there were at least 2 of the towers with 6 units each showing, and people in various states of obviously intense meditation. And I thought, she's really doing it up the right way. I like the feel with this. Now, when did you first experience the EESystem yourself?
Not long after I watched the video, I drove to Hot Springs, North Carolina. And it was a 4-unit. I initially booked for Jersey because I hadn't seen my family because of COVID. So I figured, okay, let me go to the 24, but that was scheduled out a couple of months, but I was antsy. So I went to Hot Springs. I did an overnight there. And when I woke up, before that, it's not that my life, there was anything going on in particular about my, in my life, but I had what I refer to as an existential angst. There was just something hovering, world conditions, I don't know. I woke up without that. And I was like, and it stayed gone. So I was like, I'm full on, man. I'm full on.
I love
Yeah.
it. And so you, in speaking with you just before we started the conversation, you said that you're coming up on the 1 year anniversary and actually
Two, 2 year.
2 year anniversary. I'm sorry, and that actually everything was happening right around this time 2 years ago, which I absolutely love the that it's corresponding like that. What have you seen, and what have you experienced in yourself over the last 2 years, having had so much more contact and with a 24 unit?
Well, with me having been on disability since 94 and being on a healing journey the last 13 years, and at that point, like 12, 13 years, because now it's probably 14. Yeah. Um, I I was on disability and am on disability for chronic fatigue immune dysfunction syndrome. But I've also got fibromyalgia. I've replaced hips. I've had back surgery, neck surgery. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on there. Uh, I haven't had the type of relapses I used to have, even though I had learned to pace myself and I was practicing a lot of self-care. In the last 2.5 years, though, I'll be honest, I fell off the wagon with a lot of the self-care because I haven't owned a business. I haven't worked in all these years, Uh, the the stamina alone that this has availed me is a miracle. A miracle. My Hashimoto's, my antibody numbers, I wasn't taking the medicine. I was waking up at 3 in the morning. And that's when I usually take my thyroid medicine. And for some reason, I wasn't inclined to take it. And I thought maybe I was self-sabotaging myself. And I would think about it, but I wouldn't take it. Well, fast forward a year, I go to the doctor, I confess, I'm like, I fell off the wagon with my supplements, with my thyroid medicine. I says, but do the test anyway. Let's see where I am. Well, why? We know it's gonna. I'm like, listen, just do the test. Maybe it'll motivate me to take my medicine again. I don't know. Well, we get the results back, and in the patient portal, she wrote, your numbers look fine. I could decrease your dose, but I don't think you need to supplement with it. I was like, you think? So it was my divine, my innate intelligence saying, don't worry about it, girl. I got you. I got you. And that to me was so telltale that I shouldn't question my guidance here. I was thinking, I was kind of beating myself up every now and then, thinking I was self-sabotaging because, yeah, it was kind of scary opening a business, not knowing anything about business really, uh, and just diving into a 9 foot pool, the end of the pool. Uh, so there were some apprehensions and, limiting beliefs at play. I'm getting a low battery reading here. Not sure why. Let me just check this.
Your computer may be getting a low battery reading, but I got to tell you, I'm not getting a low battery reading from you. Your energy is absolutely amazing, and I don't want to say funny, but it's I find it so interesting. Like, you list all these things that you had going on, and what I'm seeing and feeling as I'm looking at you is vibrance, health, happiness, contentment. I mean, you just exude an energy that is fabulous. And
Thank you.
I'm figuring that it wasn't always that way.
No, no. Before getting sick, in 91, 92, uh, I was burning the candle on both ends and in the middle. And I tested the reason I was able to get approved for disability after I had gotten sick and I wasn't recuperating normally. Uh, I couldn't function. Like I mean, I couldn't function, take it the whole day. I had to take naps. I mean, it totally took away everything. Um, and then to add insult to injury, my parents got sick. My dad went in for quadruple bypass surgery, and he was in New York. I flew to New York. I had just gotten on disability short term. I mean, it was the first 2 weeks. I didn't even sign the short term disability paperwork. We were just testing things out. And I flew to New York. He subsequently, a week later, had a stroke in the hospital. uh, and I was visiting, right? And I thought my mom knew what she was doing with herself. She was an insulin dependent diabetic. And but then her glucose levels were all over the charts while we were going back and forth to the hospital. Come to find out she had Alzheimer's. My dad didn't tell us. uh, he told us from the hospital bed, you have to take care of your mom. Uh, but we didn't know to what degree what he was talking about. So fast forward many years, I did come about something. I was following conventional medicine, and I even took Vioxx, one of the anti-inflammatories that there was a settlement put out on it because it damages the liver. Yeah. Uh, but I did get on the path of energy in 2012. And from then on, that led me to India to explore what the heck did those people do to me? They were putting their hands over my head, saying that they were changing the neurological, changing the brain. And I didn't know anything. I was so skeptical. But I went on a journey. I went on a journey for self-healing and learned so many things that those were the puzzle pieces that I saw while I was watching that video. I mean, I touched on a lot of the brain, quantum physics, and not at the depths that that Dr. Sandra talks, but uh, all kinds of things. Ken Wilber's work with stages and states of development. Uh, and I just, it was a new lease on life. Let me put it to you this way. Uh, when someone has lost their quality of life and they're able to regain it, and especially over a period of time, and you get a new lease on life, you are more vibrant, like you, right? You're showing up. You want to shout it from the rooftops, uh, because it's not okay that it's not the prevalent mainstream way to go. And during those 12 years, I was learning, and I learned that my dis-ease within my body and the symptoms that manifested were the result of early childhood trauma. So my heart really goes out to kids, like especially kids in foster care that are really traumatized. I think the only other population that's more traumatized are kids that are trafficked. Um, but I was always, as I was healing myself and learning these things, I'm thinking, how can I help these kids that are in foster care? Like change the trajectory of their lives because they're destined for disease in adulthood. So that's my why. Like I came a long way on my healing, and I'm not 100% by any means. So that's essentially my why, changing the trajectory of the children's lives in foster care. And when you think about it, if they're the most traumatized and the long-term effect is being disabled, those are two very those are two extremes, right? And then everybody else is within that scope. So, because early childhood trauma happens to everybody, there's not a single person around that doesn't experience some kind of trauma, regardless of how genuine and well-intentioned a parent is, right? There's always childhood trauma, and we take things into adulthood that don't serve us. uh, so, I'm all about being an advocate for human potential. So, those that are along that scope will help fund my initiatives towards the kids and the disabled. populations. That's my objective through my center, and I intend to open other centers. Uh, so that's where I'm at.
I love it. So 2 years in now with an EE System Center there in Atlanta. Tell us what's happening. What have you seen? What give us an
Mhm.
idea.
Well, there's been a lot of learning curves on my part, right? So, but as far as the people coming, uh, well, the Dr. Joe community is very dear and near to my heart, and many people that do follow Dr. Joe are on a healing path. So there have been those from that community that have come and subscribed and participated on a regular basis. And uh, one of the first among those, the a 14-year-old daughter of one of the Dr. Joe people, uh, a number of suppressed, like compromised immune conditions. The first night the family spent in the system, the kid woke up in the middle of the night and, well, let me preface, she had told her mom during the day she was just upset and frustrated because she was in dietary, a restricted diet. Said, okay, I can't have you stressed because you can't heal when you're stressed. So what do you want? What do you want? The kid wanted a croissant and ice cream. And the mother said, all right. They knew in advance that her symptoms, when she does stuff like that, she gets hives and stuff at night. So during the night, the kid woke up and popped her head up and she saw the mother, and the mother, God bless her, she was sitting there praying on all her kids because each of them has something. And Mom, I'm not itchy. And my mom says, okay, go to sleep. She wakes up the next morning. Normally, the kid doesn't wake up, stays in bed till noon, if not later. She was gone the whole day. The mom said she was like new lease on life. She wanted to do everything she hadn't been able to do. So even her functional medicine doctor came to check it out to see what is it that created it, because her labs, everything improved. So, and the young lady, thank God, she also went to a Dr. Joe event, which, like, I'm just so happy for her that she got into it because the drives back and forth, they were driving almost 40 minutes to get to and from. And the mom would play Dr. Joe tapes to brainwash the kids. It worked. It worked. We're so ingenious, aren't we, with kids biohacking them? But my most marked, like, that I have proof positive that I could show you, which I don't have right now, but I have a testimonial. It's on my YouTube page. One of my volunteers, she was subscribing for 8 hours a month. And with all the hours that she put in, she wore hearing aids. And at one point she came in and she says, Linda, I lost one of my hearing aids. But I think I hear from my ear. And I had to turn down the volume on the other one. I was like, "Were you going to get new ones or whatever?" Yeah, yeah, yeah. She goes in, and I forget what they call the person that does the testing. And I said, "Well, what did they say?" She said, "It looks like there's an improvement." I was like, "Were you going to see a doctor?" She goes, "Yeah, I'm going to make an appointment." Well, she happens to see the same doctor she saw the year before, who had told her that it was severely perforated. He's looking at it. He's like, the hole in your ear is sealed. And she says, "Sealed?" He says, "Yeah." And she's like, "Would you put that in the report?" He goes, "Absolutely. I'll take a picture." He takes a picture. She couldn't even get into her patient portal. I opened it for her and we got the picture. We downloaded it. We printed it. In the report, he wrote, the guy was flabbergasted. He wrote spontaneous closure of long-standing perforated eardrum. Patient reports improved hearing. And the poor guy probably figured, like, let me put something in there to cover myself, or I don't know, whatever his logic was. Uh, uh, Loss of hearing severe enough to consider possibly tumor, suggested MRI, and left it up to the patient. She'll get back to us. The poor guy, he didn't know what to say. What are you talking about, a tumor? And I asked her, I was like, How long have you had a hole in your ear? 50 years? So, so 50 years, perforated eardrum got sealed. So it was a splotch on the picture, and we did a testimonial, and she was holding it up. It's a splotch of blood. So the body was sending blood and, like, I guess scarring over. I don't know. I would have loved to have interviewed the doctor, but, we haven't gotten there. But she is like my most, uh, and somebody under the comments of the video, the testimonial asked how many hours, and she had clocked in 183 hours at that point. So, so yeah, but we've got a lot. I mean, I had a guy come and do a book signing that was about near-death experiences. And it wasn't until the following week, it was a great event. And the following week, he came in to a watch party that I had, and everybody was introducing themselves. And he said, "Yeah, I came last week and I did a book signing." He said, "My back had been bothering me for months." He said, "In the first 10 minutes, I realized my back wasn't hurting." He says, "And it's still not hurting." So this guy was standing up, not sleeping, his eyes weren't closed. You know, that's what it's about. It's about the miracles. And that's what I knew was going to happen. And that's why I couldn't not open a center. I don't want people suffering needlessly. Needlessly. It took all those years away from me, and yet had I not went through what I went through, both for myself and with my parents and the death of my brother that, you know, was the reason for my early childhood trauma. He died when I was 8. He was 9.5. Had it not been for all that, I wouldn't be here talking to you right now. Everything happens for a reason, everything. And it's one of the biggest things that I want to impress upon people and ultimately be able to teach through children's books and things like that to foster kids is that there's none of us, like I said, get away without childhood trauma. But it's about looking down our spirals of development and finding where we didn't progress healthily and functionally. What did we bring into adulthood that has not been serving us and that has affected all aspects of our lives, our emotional well-being, our bodies physically bringing about disease that then results in our relationships being jeopardized because, when you're in pain, you could be a really nasty, moody person, you know, confess, and I ask forgiveness of all those that suffered under me. But and then also in community and in employment, like there's a domino effect. We what we refer to in the Ken Wilber world, integral world, we tetra evolve. There's 4 uh, aspects or quadrants of life that no one can be ignored. No one cannot have forward momentum. If you don't have forward momentum in one, it stagnates the rest. So these are all different things that I want to bring forth to people in my community once I get my bearings and how to run a business and have other people running the different nuanced pieces to teach this both in person and online, that we have to look down our spirals of development, find those shadows that are seeking light to be cleared up, to raise our center of gravity, if you will, that we don't revert back to unhealthy stages or immature stages, because that's very prevalent in society. And to raise people's level of consciousness. I mean, that's what Dr. Sandra's talking about when she says she wants to bring out the genius in all of us. We each are geniuses, and there is something, your soul, everybody's soul wants to come forth in that authentic self, that soul driven, passion fueled self to make a change in the world, to be in service to the world to make a change. Because those that you help is a reflection of you. You're helping yourself, right? We need more happy feet walking the earth. So that's what she's talking about, and that's what I want to get into more deeply, uh, within my community and the communities that I'm engaged in and with, and to spread it. I see and I saw when I watched that video that we will have hubs throughout the world spreading, spreading, like not only the enhanced energy, but gluing together the healthy pieces for each person to know what their unique gift is and how they want to present it to the world. So part of the name of my center is Synergy in Action. Those that I work mostly with volunteers, and I keep telling them, I says, what makes your heart sing? What makes your heart sing? I want you to find what makes your heart sing, and I want to support you to do that. And there's not a single thing that could make somebody's heart sing that doesn't have something to do with what we're doing, healing people, whether it's physical, emotional, psychological, whatever. Uh, so it's all about synergy. And we need to create it within our families, within our closer communities, and then expand out slowly so that we could create systemic change. That's what it's about. And I want to create systemic change in the foster care uh, system, first in Georgia, then expand it or all simultaneously. That'd be nice. Uh, and I want to create an initiative around the movie Sound of Hope that was like produced by Angel Studios that did the of Sound of Freedom. So it's all about my why. I keep going back to my why.
Yeah, and I love that because it's obviously it drives you. I think that we all know that when we're in a state of survival in our health, in our mental, whatever it is, we can't possibly expand into being driven into our soul purpose and our why.
Mhm.
And it's a beautiful thing. And I love that you bring this up because the EE system gives us the opportunity to recharge ourselves, which then gives our body the opportunity to do what it was made to do, which is to heal itself. And then once all that takes place, then there's this freedom of the expansion of, okay, this is now in good shape. Now, what am I here to do? What is that thing that makes me different
Mhm.
and is the reason why I'm put here into this beautiful, amazing world? What are the gifts that I have? You bring up so much that I'm really sorry we never got to bring our tour of love to your center because you would have absolutely adored it because so much of what you talk about is what we talk about, and it's the higher levels of, okay, why do I exist, and let me go about doing that. And it's so
Mhm.
beautiful that you have tapped into that and that you see all the things that have happened to you that other people could hold on to decades later and say, this is why my life is terrible. My brother died when I was 8, he was 9.5, but you've been able to take all of that
Mhm.
and have it feed your experience and find the good in it, which is fabulous. And that's, I mean, what that sets you up for in all the people that you come into contact with, and your emphasis on the children and the community and everything is fabulous. I didn't know any of this about you before I reached out to you and said, hey, I want to do an interview with you. I knew nothing about this. And now I'm like, of course, I personally reached out to you. I wasn't going to wait for you to answer one of the Facebook posts or anything. I'm like, no, I'm going to reach out to Linda direct. And
I'm
this
glad you
right here
did.
is exactly why I am touched very deeply. This is why I'm doing these interviews. I mean, it's everyone's got a piece
Yeah.
and I relate to all of them. But I have to say, right now in this moment, the piece that you're carrying and the piece that you're expanding has touched me so incredibly deeply, and I'm honored to be talking to you about this, and that we were able to bring this discussion that just goes from not just, but starts at the physical healing and then takes us the full scope, just the full picture, goes full circle to what it really means when you have that physical healing that you created for yourself, then how you can really be in service to humanity, which I believe we're all here to do.
Absolutely. And it's not a linear journey. Uh, as I was moving along my journey, I was realizing it was like a connected dots. You remember the connected dots thing, and you were drawing. And so at every pivotal event, I finally connected the dots. It was in India that I came to that aha. But I make it a point to bring it up to people um, when they come in and like they're sick. You're sick for a reason. You have a purpose to fulfill. I had a young man that was a gunshot victim. He was playing basketball and a bullet hit him and he was left paralyzed. And the family isn't seeing clear yet to bring him in on a regular basis. But I was like, you've got a special purpose, buddy. He was 15, 16 years old. This didn't happen to you haphazardly. There's a plan for you. And I, I work hard at instilling that in them because it's so critically important. The more disruptive the incident or situation is in your life, the more reason and purpose there is behind it. And I'm not saying everybody else that does, people that don't get sick don't have purpose. They have purpose, but uh, we're special. You had a stroke. You're special. That's why you're here. You're right in front of us, right? Uh, and that is big. It is big, and we all have a piece, a role. Um, I didn't know, I didn't realize how much of a ripple effect we each individually have, and it wasn't until it wasn't until 2020. Um, it was a 30-year anniversary of the American Disabilities Act that the woman that handled the case that I was discriminated against because I was disabled. uh, I wanted to become a foster parent, and the county denied me. What you mean you? I mean, it was just a stupid case. Like just uh, long story short, I did everything I knew to do because I'm just a stubborn Cretan. My parents are from Crete, and the Cretes are. So I stuck with it, with the case. It got denied. Like the Office of Civil Rights said, yeah, there's no case here. I was like, oh, hell, there's a case. We're going to appeal this. I appealed it, and it ended up being a landmark case for the Office of Civil Rights. And they called me like right by COVID, around the time of COVID, asking if I would do a video about my story so that they could put it on the commemorative website. And I was like, well, you're gonna have to remind me. I'll do whatever you want. But remind me, what was the thing about? Because I mean, I had studied this stuff, and like I immersed myself in it, but it made no difference in my life. I didn't get the kids I wanted to get. I became a foster parent, but the kids went back to their biological parents. Um, but the bottom line, it was it was at that time, 2 weeks before that, get mind you, 2 weeks before this woman called and asked if I would do the video, somebody told me about a movie that I should check out. And it was called, it's on YouTube, Crip Camp, like crippled kids. It was a camp for special people, we call it now. I call them differently abled people. But that movie had to do with the the legal precedent that my case was upon. When I watched that movie, my soul, that was one of the first times, that was the first time like I really felt my soul like really jumping. And I was like, what's this about? It just, my heart was just at the end. And when she told me about the 504, section 504(8), whatever the heck the number is, I keep confusing it. It was only after that that I put all the pieces together to that. I was like, holy Toledos. Because I told her, What's the deal?" And she said, do you know how many lives you've affected? No. She's like, it's not just about disabled people that want to be foster parents. She told me of a young lady that was developmentally delayed, that when she gave birth to a child, the DFACS, the Department of Family and Children's Services, was waiting there to take her baby, at the hospital. Even though her parents raised her and would raise the grandchild, they still took the child away, the infant, newborn. She says, had it not been for your case, the judge would not have ruled in favor of her getting her child back. She got it back when it was 2.5 years old, but chances are she would never have gotten it back otherwise. And she goes, do you know that judge knows you inside out? I said, what do you mean? He had to learn your case. He studied it, and now he's going all over the country teaching other judges. I was like, whoa. You know, me, stubborn, pissed off Linda. If I could do that by default, what am I capable of by design? So that's what I ask people. Do you want to continue living by default, or do you want to live by design? Let's design what it is you want to create. We co-create. So it's a big grand plan, and I invite anyone and everyone to join it. We each matter, and there's not a single person's sole purpose that any of us should diminish or alter. Now, shadows come up. We may need to be tapped on the shoulder and say, hey, let's get into alignment here. Let's do some shadow work. We may get off track. I get off track. Some of my volunteers have to bring things to my attention, and that's what we're here for, right? So we have to help each other. We have to, you know, remember the way the old watches were made? The gears that each one fits the other just so perfectly. So,
Exactly.
okay, so if one of the teeth is not working quite right, we could probably sand the other ones or do something to adjust it so that we could make the clock work again. Um, I believe that. And it's all about synergy in action.
I love that, Linda. I've always said if you woke up breathing this morning, you've got an important role to play here, whatever that role is. And the individual is, it's up to them to identify what that is, and we can help and support people in finding whatever that expansion is. Um, I I I love the ripple effect of your life. I love the ever present energy, hardiness of your Greek lineage that it gives you. I feel it. And I've been to Greece and this and that, but I feel this like really solid foundation that I'm figuring really comes from, that piece of the Greek lineage. And I just love that about you. I cannot wait to meet you in person. Now this has been so expansive of a discussion and conversation, and I'm so happy about this. We're going to just sort of finish up here in a moment. Is there anything else that hasn't been said or you'd like to put out there? We'll put your website, eesystematlantaCom, in the notes where we post this on YouTube and wherever people are going to watch it and everything like that. But is there anything else you want to share?
Well, it's eesystem.org. Uh, so it's the .org at the end. eesystem.org.
EESystemAtlanta.org.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
All right,
Yeah, see, that's why it takes.
EESystematlanta.org.
Yeah, yeah.
Excellent.
We're a team. See, we help each other.
That's right.
eesystematlanta.org. Uh, no, I think that about sums it up. I just want everyone to realize you don't have to be sick. You don't have to have symptoms showing up to come to an EE system center. You could come because one of the big things, and that's what Dr. Sandra told me, she had come through town one time and I spent some time with her, uh, driving her back and forth to Cartersville, actually. But she kept said, because I told her, I was like, I feel like there's more synchronicities happening and I'm getting more downloads, but I can't even implement them fast enough. She goes, keep sleeping in the 24, keep sleeping in the 24. That's all she kept saying. So to those that don't have any symptoms, go to an EE system center, clear whatever emotional things may be holding you back. Maybe those limiting beliefs holding you back from fulfilling, your life purpose or to discover your life purpose. The pineal gland, it gets decalcified. You get a better connection to source, God, call it what you want. It's not just about, healing symptoms. So it's the whole spectrum of humanity that this is for. Uh, so whenever, and I look forward to meeting you. I want you to come through Atlanta, and anybody come through Atlanta. I'm close to the airport. People have come in and gone back to the airport during layovers. They come in for a session, so feel free. But yeah, that's really about it. But thank you so much thank you for putting this on and for being you, being part of the greater, the tribe.
Birds of a feather flock together, and here we are. You, Linda, are an inspiration. Anyone would benefit from being in your presence, and I'm hoping that people watch this beyond just wanting to learn about EE system, because there are life lessons and inspirations here that you have shared that go well beyond the scope of what these interviews are about. And thank you for bringing all that out. Thank you for being an energetic pillar in your community. And yeah, this has been an honor for me. Thank you so much for joining me on the It's All Good show.
Thank you very much.